Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:05 p.m. I'm going to call to order the Columbus, Ohio American Council of the Blind, Columbus, Ohio chapter meeting to order at 1:05 p.m. Today is September 14th, 2024. I want to welcome everyone here to the meeting. Glad you all were able to attend. I want to put the disclaimer out that this meeting is being recorded. And the recorded will be put on the public domain, which is our YouTube channel. And it also will be shared on other social media platforms. So anything you say here will be put into the public domain for consumption. So just be mindful of that. All right. So first things first is you can do a roll call of attendees and any guests that are here. So can we start on Zoom, Sean?
Yeah, yes, we can do that. I've muted a couple people, not because I don't like you, but because we have some background sound, and I have also changed it so that people are muted when they come in the Zoom room. So just putting that out there, and if people need help unmuting when we get to that point, we'll get there. So at the moment, we have in no particular order of the screen, myself, Michelle Spillane, Tanya Walker, and Kathy Withman, and Mary Carabinos. And that is our lot on Zoom so far.
And Sean is pronounced Tanya.
That is correct. I'm sorry. I heard you say that, but I
said Tanya.
I was listening to Jaws.
Yeah, that's how Jaws said it's Tanya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna have the mic go around to do the attendance in the room. Myself, Janae Miller is here, the president.
Edward Snively. Lee Tucker.
Shirley Roberts.
Lynn Roberts.
Gail Neuendorf. Gail Neuendorf.
Angela Brown. Dustin Grandstaff.
Erwin Hott.
Oh, Gail Baldwin. Rachel Fetzka.
And that's the roll.
That's the room. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being
Denise is also now in Zoom. Denise Bauman has joined us.
Hello, Denise. Welcome. Denise Bauman. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is, has everyone had a chance to read the meeting minutes from last month's meeting?
I do have 2 corrections.
I was going to ask for that, but I was asking if people had a chance to read it.
Oh, fair enough.
Thank you. Like I was saying, if everyone had a chance to read the minutes, and if so, are there any corrections to the meeting minutes? And Sean, you can share your corrections.
Okay. One of them I don't quite know how to fix. 2 names are misspelled. I know Mark Brodigam's last name is misspelled, but I don't know the correct spelling. But Ed, I'm sure Lee can get it to you. Michelle's last name is also misspelled. It is Spillan. I think the P was just accidentally left out. But those are 2 corrections that I noticed.
Any other comments or corrections regarding the meeting minutes? Hold on, I'm going to ask for that. Let me give me a minute. So, any comments or corrections from anybody on Zoom regarding the meeting minutes? Any hands raised, Sean?
I do not see any at the moment. To do that, Alt Y on the PC, Option Y on the Mac, star, and followed by the number 9 on the phone. And it is also under reactions if you're a sighted or partially sighted user.
Okay,
They moved it again. Well, and actually, that was a long time ago, but
okay. So now I would like to know, is there a motion to accept the meeting as corrected with the changes, I should say, accept the meeting minutes? Who,
Motion to accept the meeting minutes, President.
okay, one moment. Who said it in the room?
Tanya and Zoom.
Not in Zoom, Tanya. Hold on one second. Who said it in the room? Okay, Lynn Roberts has made a motion. Tanya, would you like to second it?
Hang
Yes, President, I second the motion.
on. Is Tanya a member?
Yes, she is.
Okay, what's her last name?
Tanya Walker, she's the new member from Springfield.
Oh, okay. I
Yes.
haven't received money for that. So she's not a member. Unless she's paid at ACB Ohio.
I paid it online. You want my receipt?
No, okay. If you paid at ACB Ohio, then you're a member. I just don't know about it yet. Okay.
It was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Hold it. Because this is. Yeah, wait a minute.
She's definitely a member. I do know that.
So Michelle says she's definitely a member. And she's registered under our chapter, correct, Michelle?
Yes.
Oh. Oh, shit.
Mark, I believe, is that you, 7707?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually hit the wrong button there.
You're
Try and
fine.
do it again.
Could you do me a favor real quick and
Hold on one-
please?
Hang on there.
Hold
right.
on, Sean.
This is important because I do not have her as a member here. I don't have a Walker as a member. So since I don't have her and that's not been communicated to me, my point is that you would not be allowed to make motions or vote.
Okay, Michelle, we need to get that corrected.
As-
It was emailed on to Lee and Janae, and that was July 17th.
Okay. And this is WALKER?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Then please send it again because I don't have it in my records.
Okay.
Oh,
Does Michelle's mention of the email count as her being a member for today's purposes then?
yeah, I can accept that. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so then she has seconded the motion.
okay. Tanya Walker has seconded the motion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? The motion has carried. Okay. Now at this time, we will have the treasury report by Mr. Lee Tucker. Okay, give Lee a minute. We will have his report.
While we have a second, Mark, could you please spell your last name because we will need it later for a correction, but would you mind spelling it for me?
Okay, can you hear me there?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Here's Brogdon. It's like B as in boy, RAUTIGAM.
So
Oh,
T as in
German
tango,
name.
T as in tango, and G as in golf.
Yeah, TIGAM. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you got in on the end instead of Mike.
Yeah, it's Mike. Yeah, MGAM.
All right, and now I have renamed you on the screen. All right, there we go.
Rename
Thanks.
me. Okay.
Your official name.
Okay. So Ed has made a note of that. Thank you. Lee, let us know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Lee Tucker, our treasurer, is going to present his report.
Okay, this is the financial report for the Columbus Chapter of the American Council of Blind of Ohio. September 13th, 2024, for the period of August 10th, 2024 to September 13th, 2024. Checking account ending balance is $17,303.35, an increase of $781.10. Deposited is the fall check from the Columbus Foundation for $1,293.94, and memberships from ACB Ohio for $15. Expenses, the normal AT&T telephone line, $16.11. The engagement benefit, $170 cash withdrawn for that. The CPR schoolhouse for the blind payment was made for that in the amount of $621, and the Huntington charge card payment was made for $108.98. And going back in history, that was for stamps and envelopes back in July. We have an outstanding balance of checks, meaning that that hasn't been cashed yet at the bank, and that's of $666. And then outstanding checks from the previous month were cashed for $232.75. Charge card, as I mentioned, the payment has been made of $108.98, and new charge was made for the Zoom product, Zoom Pro, for $159.90. People Helping People program, the ending balance in the account of that is $2,299.48, a decrease of $58.39. One grant was made for an Apple Bluetooth keyboard and a few other items for $71.39. And the pennies for August were $13 added to the account. Savings, the ending balance of that was $6,244.32. And yesterday, we received the assignment letter from the IRS. So we can visit the bank again. And we'll find out what other barrier they throw in our way. Anyway, Columbus Foundation estimated market value as of September 13th, 2024, $93,998.40, and which is a gain since December 31st of $1,724.22. And we already mentioned the fall grant. The spring grant from the Columbus Foundation was $5,658.47. To compare to last year, we received $6,400.50. So that is the end summary here. No notes to the financial statement.
That's a decrease from last year for the Columbus Foundation.
That's a little bit up, actually. It's 6,000, it's around 6,900.
Okay, so here's my question. You said last year's the Columbus Foundation was 6,400, right?
Yeah, that was last year.
And then this year it's 5,600, correct?
It's okay. That was unclear the way I read that. The spring grant was $5,658.47, and
Okay.
the fall grant was $1,293.
Oh, the fall grant is
and
smaller.
90, that's a typo, I think 94 cents.
Okay,
So it comes out to around 6,900.
okay, gotcha. So it is a little bit of an increase. Okay, gotcha. Okay, is that the end of your report? Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Lee Tucker, our treasurer, regarding his report? Anything you guys want to discuss? Any questions in Zoom for Lee regarding the treasurer's report?
There are no hands raised, but there are some unmuted folks, so I don't know if they have any questions. We'll give them a second. Okay, I'm not hearing any hands or questions.
Okay, no hands, okay. Is there a motion on the floor to accept the treasurer's report? Gail Baldwin has moved. Is there a second? Okay, so Gail Baldwin has moved and Erwin Hod has seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? The motion has carried. Okay. Now we will move on to committee reports. So first of all, we'd like to hear the report for the PHP committee, please.
Yep, Denise is here.
Denise is muted.
You may have to F6 around and find your OK to the recorded thingy, because that doesn't always come up straight away. There she is. No. There you are.
It didn't offer me that opportunity to when I pushed F6 earlier. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, you're here.
PHP, sure. So you learned from the treasurer that we did approve one application and that payment was made. And I can just say that that person seemed incredibly gracious to be able to receive and grateful for the, it was really quite phenomenal to hear somebody not expect something, but really appreciate something and wanting to make sure that they were following all the the requirements and such. Just very sensitive and grateful. So also we met with, and honestly I can't say this is the exact term, so I'd have to look it up, but the Northern Columbus Lions Club folks over at the El Vaquero, and they kindly purchased dinner for Lee and me, and it was a very wonderful exchange, and they accepted applications and were very excited to keep their eye on people that might be potential recipients of our PHP program support. So that completes what I have to share.
Thank you so much, Denise.
You're welcome.
Next, I would like to hear the so over the last couple of weeks, at the last meeting, I asked for some assistance with having a couple of people gather together to look at the guidelines for the Sunshine Committee, to have those be looked at, revised, looked at and given recommendations for revisions, I should say. And so I believe it's Shirley that's going to read the ideas that they came up with or the adjustment that they think should be made, so that we can listen to those and have discussion on that and possibly take a vote if necessary. So Shirley, would you like to read what you guys came up with? Because it was Shirley and Mary Highland and Kathy Whitman and Shirley's husband Lynn, I think, had a meeting. And I want to thank them for taking the time to have the meeting to come up with these possible amendments to the Sunshine Committee guidelines.
Okay, it's not close enough to my face, Lynn.
Take your time.
Sherry, you're good.
Trying to get
Now
them
you're good.
adjusted. Anyway, what I'm going to do initially, I guess, is read the whole thing we came up with, and then we can divide it into 2 sub-segments and go over it again. I hope most of you got the chance to read this, but it's pretty quick and brief, and obviously, it can be edited, for vocabulary or a little better wording if you want. This is just kind of a rough thing to start with, but I think we came up with a fairly, decent idea or goal. So here we go. Sunshine Committee guidelines. Expenses says $300 is the budget for 2024. We added that 2024 because it just said, the budget was $300, but obviously, and I don't think this is necessarily our bailiwick, so the budget committee can decide that each year. If funds are depleted, additional funds may be obtained by subtracting the appropriate amount from the membership benefit fund. Now we go into hospitalization, and as I said, we can do this piece by piece, but I'm going to read it real quickly. Hospitalization. Current members who have been admitted to a hospital for an overnight stay are eligible for a $50 gift card. Kroger is the default card unless the individual prefers another, and that card is available. Members are limited to only one gift card per year, and they must report the event to either the committee chair or the president within 2 months of the hospitalization. The Sunshine Committee will send out a gift card and greeting card to that individual. A member of the Sunshine Committee will call that person to let them know the gift card and greeting card are being sent, and will check on them periodically if the illness is ongoing. In the event of death, this is the last section here. In the case of a death of a member, $35 will be donated to a designated charity of his or her choice. That information will be obtained either from the obituary or a surviving spouse or family member. In the event of the death of a current member's spouse or minor child, a $50 gift card will be given. For other family members, the Sunshine Committee will collect donations on a voluntary basis and forward them to the survivor. If both the deceased and the survivor are members, both benefits will be given. In the event of the death of a member's guide dog, a sympathy card will be sent. So that's the end of our recommendations. And do you want me to start over and go through the sections then one by one? And
Well, let's first just see, does anyone have any questions or needs any clarity on what Shirley has just read regarding the proposed changes that they're recommending? Anybody in the room, anybody on Zoom?
I
Mary
do.
Carabinas has raised her hand in Zoom.
Oh.
We will come to her first, and then Tanya, we can come to you next. Actually, we'll see if there's anyone in the room after Mary, and if there isn't, then we'll continue on to you. So Mary, what?
Okay. My question is, I'm a single person. Is there a place in the records or membership records that have next of kin or anything like that, so that if the person does pass away, that or does that person have to call in to the ACB office and say, my sister or brother died? How does that follow-up go?
Let me answer that. There's no place in the membership records where that is present.
So then that person would have to call the office and say, that way they're able to, is that the Sunshine Committee could, therefore follow up, so to speak.
in the case of a death or in hospitalization?
Yes. A death or even hospitalization. I guess the person could, unless the person's incapacitated and can't call.
Well, it says a surviving spouse or family member could call.
Right. Okay. So they can call into the office and say, and inform people that this person has died or in the hospital and can't talk for themselves.
I would think so, and I don't know. I mean, we don't have anything addressed outside the family. It says a spouse or family member. I guess if they don't have family members, I mean, it would be.
Shirley, can you get closer to the mic for Zoom, please? You're
there-
fading out.
it-
There you go.
Say anything outside the family, it says a spouse or family member for death. I guess if there isn't a family member, obviously the office would have to,
No, I mean,
friend.
there would be a family member. It's just that the person that's the member is, lives alone or whatever.
Well,
and
it's
that's what
of death, a spouse or family member.
So
Now-
yeah, that's covered basically if it's a family member, because we know that not everybody's married or has a partner. So
Right.
yes, family member, I think it's a good general term to mean your sister could call. That's how I view it.
Okay, I know. So I would have to inform a particular person, and they could, with the phone number and contact, information like that. I'm just wondering. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Was there any questions in the room?
hold on. Yeah, we have, hold on one sec. We do.
Okay.
I think Gail was saying something.
I guess my mouth is the biggest. I was just saying we could add or a friend, family member or friend of the family.
Well, I thought at this point she was just basically looking for clarifications because we really haven't gotten into the discussion
We haven't, we're just
phase.
looking for clarification
Yeah,
right now.
You know,
We're-
right now, I think she was just asking if
Yeah,
there were any
I'm-
questions. You guys are getting a little bit ahead of yourselves because we're not into the discussion
Correct. I'm just
phase of
making
it
sure.
yet to make changes.
Yes, thank you, Shirley. I was just making sure that you understood that she need to repeat something and something not clear. You know, does she need to read it, you know, one section at a time? That's kind of what I was doing first. Then if nobody doesn't need any clarification, then we can get into what you like or don't like. Go ahead and then we'll go to Zoom, 'cause I think there was a question in Zoom.
Yeah, I think the guidelines have been shortened and are much more concise, and that's great. One question I had when it said, the $35 donation, and under that it says if both husband and wife are members, then both things will be done. Is that both meaning the 35?
Let me clear that up. What it basically said is if the person that died was, both a member. Let me see if I can get to this part real quick here, just a minute. If the surviving spouse, let's see, obtained either, let me try to just find that real quickly. I'm sorry.
I can do it. If both the deceased and the survivor are members, both benefits will be given.
Right. Right. No, 35. Yeah, but one is a $35 donation and the other, you're right, correct. 50
35 and 50.
Okay, I think Tanya had a question or a comment on Zoom.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure I understand what the overall scope of the Sunshine Committee is, which would be.
Let me explain that the Sunshine Committee was originally, and you guys could correct me, but the Sunshine Committee was originally created so that for any of the members, if there's a death or a hospitalization, that, this committee would be in charge of, seeing that that person kind of is checked on, that we send a greeting card to say, getting better soon, or if someone passed away back in the day, people would go to the funeral of a member who had passed away and give some type of a gift, or you could call it a love offering to the family. We're going through now with this committee and revising the guidelines so that it's more obtainable for if someone is totally blind on this committee can do the job of being a part of the committee, or if someone has some vision, they can do, some extra things. Originally, the language was probably more geared for somebody that was sighted to go around and visit people if they were sick or go to the funeral. So we're just adjusting these guidelines to make it more obtainable for the membership. Did that make sense, Tanya?
Is there anybody on the committee that can use vision devices, such as myself with low vision or diabetic vision issues?
Yes, the committee is, if you choose to be on the committee, that this is just guidelines as to how we will proceed if someone calls and says, hey, my husband, who's a member of the American Council of the Blind, passed away. I want to inform you all of that. We would then provide, the gift card from Kroger's and a card possibly to say, hey, kind of a way of saying sorry for your loss. Or if they're in the hospital, we would also provide a gift card and a get well card for that member so that they are seen by the membership as being thought of and, thought of. Did that make sense?
How many members are on the committee as of today?
Well, originally, before this particular gathering of the people to look at revising the guidelines, it was a husband and wife team. It was Larry and Nikki Hansen. And recently they have encountered some challenges with their health that they have stepped down from their duties of being over the Sunshine Committee. And that's why we are at this place of looking at the guidelines again, seeing do we need to make some changes. And so we're here discussing what the three people that gathered to talk about, you know, ideas for what should be amended to the guidelines for what the committee does and how it operates.
Well, I haven't joined the committee as of yet, although I suggested a committee. I would be willing to join that committee and learn as we go. I think the whole concept of a sunshine call or a hospital visit's important, so I think I'd like to participate.
Well, so far, this committee is just doing the guidelines.
Correct. They're just
Janae later, you know, or hopefully sometime soon when we're done with this, she will actually probably assign a sunshine committee that will take over. We just came in just to do the guidelines. And so, you know, now that you've let her know you're interested, you know, I'm sure she could talk with you about being on the actual committee once it's formed, but we're just a guideline group at the moment, just trying to get the basics together.
Oh, so we're just doing the talking instead of the working. I get it.
well, we're just kind of revising right now. So once we get the revising part done and we say, this is what we all as a membership agree on, this should be the guidelines, then we'll go back to getting the committee in kind of a working function. So,
Got it. Thank you.
welcome. Anyone else have any clarification? Okay.
One thing I did wonder about where, you know, it says 1 card per year. Does that also go for death? So if someone is in the hospital, they get a card, and then that same year they die. Is anything additionally done for the death? Or do we say 1 card per year, you had it, you're done? I just wondered if someone is in the hospital and dies in the same year, what do we do about the 1 card per year?
My comprehension, and unfortunately, not all my committee is here. I know that
Kathy Whitman's
Kathy
on,
is
she's on Zoom.
right. I know Kathy's on Zoom. Mary was going to be late, but my comprehension, when we talked about the 1 time per year, this was supposed to be strictly for a hospitalization, an overnight hospitalization. Obviously, you know, if a death takes place, that puts it in another category. At least that's the way that I felt, you know, that we were stating it. We were just covering hospitalization in the 1 gift card a year.
Yeah, it's written as 3 separate clauses.
Right.
Expenses, hospitalization, and in the event of death.
Right.
So
So the event of death is separate.
From the hospitalization part.
Right.
Right. Kathy Whitman, would you want to speak to any of this since you were a part of the group that kind of came up with these? Kathy's on Zoom. Is she able to unmute?
Kathy, if you would like to unmute, you have the ability with *6 to do so. There you are.
Okay, I think that what Lee said is correct, and that the hospitalization gift card would be the 1 time, and then if a death would be a separate section.
A separate
So
event.
if a person would die later on that year, they would also get the death benefit.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Does everybody else agree with that?
That makes sense. Yeah.
This is, you know, these are here for you guys at the membership to say if you like these suggestions. And so, I agree, because I think if that happens in the same year, that they should get that both should be allotted. That's my thought, but it's up to you guys.
Well, it is stated 1 card per year.
It's stated that way.
But that was under the hospitalization.
Correct. And but what what Mary Lynn was just clarifying, if someone happened to die also in that same year, do they get the death benefit?
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just making sure we're clear on what's being said back and forth. That's why I'm just repeating.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Should we read each section separately and then vote on them?
Yes, we can. So now, does anyone else have any further discussion? Or can we, any more questions?
Yeah, we're in the clarification area. Is it time to move on, in other words?
Yes, so now we're into questions because we want to, see if it's necessary to take a vote. So anybody has any questions? Does anybody want to hear these read one by one so we can vote on these one by
I'm
one?
wondering, do they need to be voted on one at a time, or were we going to just vote on them as a group, as a whole package?
So what would you like to do? So here's the question. I would like somebody to make a motion when we get to that point as to how they want these to be done. If you want to be done to be voted separately, or if you all want the motion to be that these would be voted together as a package.
I let Tucker make a motion to vote on the Sunshine Committee guidelines as a package.
As a
all three.
package, okay. Is there anyone else that would like to second Lee's motion regarding how these?
I would, this is Sean, I so move. Second.
Seconded, okay. Is there any other questions before we begin to, to take a vote? Any final questions before we vote? Any other points of clarification?
Yes, I do. Should we establish a long and short-term start date?
I didn't understand that. What was that?
I asked if we should establish a long-term start date and a short-term start date.
Still don't.
For restarting the committee?
Or when,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's what
yes.
she's wondering.
Yes, we are in a new COVID era and people have needs.
So once we have done this, the next phase would be to find out who would be interested outside of Tanya to be a part of a newly formed Sunshine Committee. And the committee can get started as soon as possible, in my mind.
Okay, all right. As long as we're not putting it off too long.
Yeah. No, it can start immediately, but we need to vote on the guidelines. So Lee has put a motion on the floor that the guidelines be voted as a package, and Sean has seconded. All of those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone who is opposed? Anybody opposed? Okay, the motion has carried. So, thank you all for gathering to even come up with these. So, I will say this, I will be talking with Tanya and Tanya will reach out to some other people individually to see who is interested in being on the Sunshine Committee along with Tanya. We don't do that today for the sake of time, because I want to get to the Finance Committee's report. And we have other
We
things.
still have to vote on this package, though.
We did.
Yeah, we all agreed.
Okay. Okay, so now, okay, you're right. Thank you. So now that, my apologies. So now that we have voted that this should be voted as a package, so now all those in favor for these 3 areas being the new part of the new guidelines for the Sunshine Committee, all those who are in favor of that, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, this has passed. So we have some new Sunshine Committee guidelines. Thank you again, everybody. Appreciate it. So I will be in touch about who would like to be on the committee outside of Tanya, who's already shown the interest. So now at this time, I would like to move on to the Finance Committee report.
Give me a minute to get back a hold of my sanity here. So we have, since we have, let's see, where did that? But
Take
from
your time.
memory, we have around $7,000 in income that we have this year. And we have, so far we've spent around 6,500. In other words, we have a margin of $500. If we spend more than that, that means that we're going to take money off the checking account, which of course the checking account is at the moment well funded. So looking forward, we have only about 3 things we would expend money on. And I'll just name them. Fall Fest, support for the ACB Ohio Indiana convention. And then last year we had a Christmas dinner, which cost us around $1,000. So the Finance Committee doesn't make recommendations. We just bring it forward to the floor to ask people what we want to do. So, Janae, shall we ask whether we should consider anything for Fall Fest?
Yes.
Any kind of donation for that?
Yes. Are we interested as a membership in donating anything regarding Fall Fest? How do you guys feel about that? No, it doesn't have to be $1,000. It could be whatever amount you all think is appropriate based on what we have. And if you need to ask questions regarding Fall Fest, Michelle is here. She can give some information on regarding that, because we also have to talk about convention next.
Well, speaking of expenses in those areas.
Hold on, Tanya. Hold on, Tanya. Somebody's talking in the room first. Hold on.
Oh.
Yes. We also donate to other organizations along with what we do within the chapter. So
yeah, let me handle that, because we've already made $3,000 in donations to different organizations. I think it's not exactly in front of me right now. We paid $500 to help support buying an AED here for the church.
We said money to shorten sound stage.
Yes, and that's in the short stage. We supported audio description for that organization, which that's an organization that would not have been able to have audio description of plays unless we had donated to them. And so that's the bulk of the expenditures. Well, and actually, when I read out the expenditures for the month, we had a first aid class, which 9 people attended, and we paid $621 for that. So those are the prefix expenditures so far of the year. And anyhow, in summary, anyway.
So Gail, based on, this is kind of where we're at this part of the year, we have Fall Fest and convention and the Christmas dinner. So, based on what the committee is sharing, I want to know from the membership where would we like to put our money, if at all? Do we want to give any money for Fall Fest or convention?
Or Christmas dinner.
Or the Christmas dinner.
Let me put that in context with each other. Because the Fall Fest last year, we gave them $1,000 for hotel rooms. We donated I guess, $1,000 to the American Council of Blind Ohio Indiana convention when it was here. And last year, the Christmas dinner ran a little bit less than $2,000. So you add those 4 things up, that's $4,000, and we only have like $500 at the moment without dipping into the checking account. Dustin.
Well, hold on, wait, hold on. No,
Yeah, we did have Tanya in Zoom.
not yet. I
I
want to jump to Zoom because Tanya had something to say, so I'm trying to go back and forth. Tanya, you had a question?
I just wanted to make a comment about an expense related to the convention. In the event, we decided to give some prizes for a Family Feud event. It would be nice to have prizes. I've already started a list of 30 different questions.
So for the Family Feud event, that would probably be, like we said, at the monthly membership card, that will probably be for next year. It wouldn't be for this year. This is for this year's convention we're talking about.
Okay, so that budget year would not be relevant. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so, but keep working on the questions though.
Okay.
So now Dustin.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to say, and to help you guys out, or to help us out as a chapter a little bit, I've been on the sports and rec committee, so I've been hearing a lot about the Fall Fest. And Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong. To give you an idea, guys, I don't think that Fall Fest would need $1,000 from our chapter this year to
No.
operate. We were able to get lots of donations from Lions clubs, and we were given a certain stipend that we were able to include. So what I'm getting at is from my understanding, and Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Fall Fest is 90% pretty much covered.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Okay, let's table discussion about the Fall Fest then.
Okay,
That
so
makes sense?
yes, it does. So
Yeah.
that's convention. So for the convention, there's two things I want to note while we're talking about convention. I was going to kind of roll this all together. So number one, looking at what we're going to give anything to convention. Also, I want to make sure that everybody knows that there is money set aside, $750 for transportation to the Ohio Indiana Combined Convention, which is next month, October 25th through the 27th. And so I've slowly been getting questions about transportation, and I need to know as well, either you can call me or you can let me know here in this meeting if you're interested in going, so we can decide whether or not we are going to use that money that was set aside for us to have a van.
And that comes from the state,
That's the state.
not the chapter.
Correct. But I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Suggestion, maybe we could have a show of hands right now of people who would like to use the van, just to get a notion. One hand in the room. I see two hands in the room.
You don't have to ride in the van if you have other ways of getting to the convention, but this is available for us so that transportation should not, would not be a stressor to get there if you're interested in attending the state convention next month.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly remind those in Zoom how to do that. *9 on the telephone, Alt Y on the PC, Option Y on the Mac. But there you go. Yeah, your hand is up. So I'm just reminding other people how to do that if they want to. I don't know how to do it visually. Actually, I think it's under the reactions button. I think you have to click that and then raise your hand if you're not a keyboard user.
Okay. What are you saying, Lee? Three in the room. Okay.
And then one on Zoom. We have Mary on Zoom.
Okay.
Angela and Mary Lynn.
Okay.
Michelle's hand is raised, presumably though with a comment. But are you commenting, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll get you.
Don't speak. This is our executive director,
Still three.
Michelle.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna lower your hand, Michelle, because
sure.
Yeah. There.
I was just gonna say that I'm going to the convention on Thursday afternoon, and I'm happy to take anybody that wants to go. And just let me know so I can rent the appropriate size vehicle. And I've heard from a few people already. I got a short list, and I know maybe some people don't want to go, the day before, but I got to be there on Thursday. But so if anybody wants to come with our group, everybody's welcome. And so we'll be leaving Thursday afternoon. I don't know, maybe we all meet at the ACBO office. I don't know, just throwing that out there.
That would also mean if you're going individually and your hotel room is not covered, you'd be paying for an extra night if you're coming on Thursday.
True, yeah.
So just something to be aware of.
Correct. And Michelle, when would you like, if those are interested in going with you, when would you like them to let you know by? What's the cutoff date?
Okay, today's the 14th, maybe on the 20th. Would that give people enough time?
The 20th of October?
Of September? Should we say, I don't know if that's enough time for people. What do you think?
Oh, wow. Well, here's my question. How far in advance do you need to rent a van?
I don't know. I gotta check on that.
Okay. So since the convention's at the end of October, let's give people to the beginning of the month because
Okay, that
I'm only
sounds good.
because registration and hotel reservation closes on the 8th.
Yeah,
So I propose that we give people to the beginning of October. So
that sounds, we'll just say October 1st then.
yes. Because
So
registration,
Mary, so now that we have that, I guess what we should also determine is for the 3 people who raised their hand in the room and the 1 person in Zoom, which day are y'all wanting to go? Because that would be relevant. We would need to know that.
so let's start with Mary. Mary, what day would you like to, are you able to go? Would you like to
Or
go?
would you-
Did
It depends on the room. I'm rooming with someone there, so depends on if she's going to get a room. I imagine I hate to pay for a whole room, and so and the other question is if a lot of us are going on Thursday. Obviously, there's going to be no van for the Friday,
Yeah, that's what we're trying to kind of sort out is
so you almost have to go Thursday. Because I understand it's hard to find a driver for Friday. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Okay, and so and what about the 3 people in the room? What are your thoughts about what Michelle, excuse me, has suggested?
It's 2 people in the room.
2 people, okay.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I raised both hands because it would be for me and a friend. That's why I said, okay, hang on. And Friday would be preferable because going Thursday is 3 extra meals, 4 extra meals, and an extra night in the hotel. And I checked the hotel, they have no pool. The only amenity they have besides places to eat is an exercise room. So, oh, I know. But I guess the key is, are we going to say Thursday, go then or don't go? Or are we going to have a Friday also?
I think we're going to have at least one more because I think there's somebody that works that day too, I think.
And I know that a couple people have reached out to Michelle about transportation. So like she said, she has a short list. So this is something we can kind of continue to sort of, but let's go back to the discussion about is anybody are we as a chapter interested in donating or giving any money for the convention or not?
Well,
We
I
don't have
some-
to.
That's okay. I have the mic and I've had the mic for a few minutes. I was
ahead.
trying to wait.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know.
No, you're fine. I was going to make a suggestion
Go ahead.
on the transportation deal.
Mm-hmm.
If Michelle was willing to drive people and people were agreeing to go Thursday night, again, I'm not saying it has to be $1,000. Maybe the chapter votes to give a stipend for the van. And if meals are that big of a deal for people Thursday night, maybe the chapter covers one of their meals or something. Just a suggestion.
What do you all think about Dustin's suggestion?
One other suggestion, the hotel told me they have refrigerator and a microwave in every room. So I'm assuming they told me correctly, people could always pack food for that first day. Take it, throw it in the fridge, warm it in the microwave, do your own thing. No extra expense in.
Very good suggestion. So again, the two things on the floor, well, the main thing is, what about your thoughts on Dustin's suggestion about what the chapter could do? We can do nothing, or we can do, give that suggestion. And if so, is someone like to make a motion for that? Is there any, I'm gonna allow for a little more discussion.
Okay, let's continue the discussion a little bit. 'Cause last year we gave
Okay,
$1,000 to the convention. It was here locally
correct.
as a sponsor, and
Mhm.
they used that however they did. Just suggestions I'm rolling out on the floor is maybe we could do something like give the convention $500, but and also if people have expenses because they're there on Thursday night or something, we could provide each one, say, pulling a number out of there, $50. It wouldn't pay for a hotel room, but it would pay for meals. I mean, just a number here.
I think that's a good number. For me, I think that's a good number. I want to know what the rest of the membership thinks. I think that's a good idea. That's what
This is Denise speaking.
Denise.
I mean, if people had to find transportation on their own, obviously that would be more expensive than being able to ride in a car. That's just a comment. Also, it's not clear to me, are there going to be two different vehicles to take people on Thursday and Fridays, so that people need to be clear about which day they want to leave? Or is there the hope that we can make this all work on one day?
Well, right now, only thing that's been put out that Michelle is willing to drive a van, but she has to be there on Thursday. And the ACB Ohio has allotted $750 for the cost of transportation for like a van for everybody to get there. Michelle's willing to drive, but people will have to leave on Thursday.
So I'm comprehending all of that, but the conversation at the beginning was, would people want Thursday or Friday? And knowing that Michelle needs to be there on Thursday, is Friday even an option? I'm just trying to see if that can get cleaned up.
Okay, I'm not sure unless someone can find someone that's willing to drive them on Friday. That'll probably be the thing. Unless we have another offer for a volunteer to drive on Friday, that would be probably the question.
And you have to figure out how many spaces, or I guess she said she would rent the vehicle based on how many people were going. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get the Thursday, Friday piece clear. Thank you.
Yep. Denise, she said she had been keeping like a short list because other people reached out to the office.
Yep. And there might be some similar names on the short list and those who spoke today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's gathering a list. And so again, and I think my thought is that if somebody's willing to drive on Friday, if somebody can find a volunteer that can drive for those who want to go up on Friday, that would be the case. But if Michelle's offering to drive people, she's going down on Thursday. So that's kind of long and short of it.
I did have just a trivial question, perhaps. What time do you know if what time is departure on Thursday? So that would depend on how many meals extra you would have to purchase and et cetera.
I think really that all can be determined later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that would determine transportation part too, maybe, whether you're going, but I guess if there's nothing going on Friday, then you have to go Thursday. Okay.
Okay, so hold on a second here. So.
Okay, revolutionary thought. If we get there a day early, we can always volunteer to help set up too. That'll keep us busy.
Thank you, Mary Lynn. So let
Patrick was here, but I don't know if he was ever able to unmute, but Patrick was here. I did forget to mention when he showed up, so we need to add him for the Zoom portion.
Okay. Let's come back to the discussion about Destin's suggestion. If anyone else has a suggestion as regarding to want to donate money for the convention or not? Anybody? I want to know how you feel about Dustin's suggestion.
I'm a little lost. I thought it was my suggestion, but Dustin, what did you suggest?
And then
My suggestion was basically along the lines of yours. You took my suggestion and finalized it, made it sound better, basically. So my suggestion from the get-go was, if Michelle's willing to rent a van, maybe the chapter compensates a certain amount for the van, but then I just found out that they're already giving the state's giving a certain amount. And if meals are that concerning for people and they're not able to budget knowing that they're going, maybe the chapter gives a small stipend to cover the Thursday night meal or something. But then what you said was giving the $50. So basically it's the same thing, but you finalize.
Correct. And I was going to come back around to Lee and think that was because Dustin first and then tacked on the 50. And I think that's a good number for a possible meal stipend. So again, I'm just trying to find out, does the membership like what's being talked about? Does anybody have any other?
Right now it doesn't have a second, so it's mute.
Right. So this is Dustin's suggestion or motion?
I was
Suggesting.
It don't matter. At the end of the day, it don't matter.
Okay, you're suggesting. Now, Lee, was yours a suggestion or a motion?
Yeah, I was trying to frame a motion where we supported the ACB Ohio Indiana convention with a $500 donation.
Okay.
And for people who went somehow on Thursday, that each one of them, the chapter would support with $50.
Okay, so let me re-say this. So he is putting out a motion that the chapter support the Ohio Indiana Combined Convention for 2024 with a $500 donation, and those who choose to go on Thursday down with Michelle, that the chapter supports by giving a $50 stipend for a cost coverage of a meal.
We add a little bit to that. That would be for Central Ohio residents.
It's for Central Ohio residents.
Because the Columbus chapter is for visually impaired people who live in the Central Ohio area, which is Franklin County and the surrounding counties.
So.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry. What is the chapter providing or donating money for the registration fee, or that's up to us, right? At $80 for registration?
That's not on the floor.
It's not on the floor at the moment.
No, I mean, I was just asking, but okay. So I didn't know if you're going to put that on the floor or what. Okay. Just curious.
So
Angela Brown seconds.
Angela Brown is seconding. So let me repeat this again. We've had a lot of discussion. So Lee Tucker, our treasurer, has put down a motion that the Columbus chapter will donate $500 to the Ohio Indiana Combined Convention, as well as offering a $50 stipend for a meal incidental for those who will be going down for the convention on Thursday, the 24th of October, because the convention starts on the 25th. And Angela Brown has seconded that motion. All of those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, just to clarify, my friend, we've always gone to conventions together. She's coming down from Canton, Ohio at my house to go with me. So she would not benefit, correct?
No.
And I have to be excused, President. I have a Springfield event coming up I have to prepare for.
Is she a member of the chapter, Mary Lynn? No, then she wouldn't. No. Yeah, so this is just for our chapter. So She will have to talk to her chapter about that.
Excuse me, Madam President, I would like to make an inquiry about that,
Yes, ma'am.
just for clarity.
Ma'am.
In all due respect to Marilyn's friend who's coming, if there was someone that came forward before Michelle's designated deadline date to know how many were coming, would that person take a space? If there wasn't enough spaces for Mary Lynn's friend and all the people wanting a ride, how will that be handled? Since that person isn't a chapter member.
Madam President, I do have a vehicle. I do have a sister in Annapolis. And I'll put that on the floor, but I have to be excused at this time for an urgent meeting in Springfield. But I don't have enough information to commit.
Commit to what again? I'm
Operating the vehicle to take anyone with to Indianapolis. I do have a vehicle and a restricted license daytime driving, and I have a sister in Indianapolis, so I'm familiar with driving that route.
okay.
If you need another vehicle, but I have to be excused from this meeting because we've got something coming up in Springfield I need to attend to.
That's fine, Tanya. Thank you so much. I will be in touch.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, and Denise, could you repeat your clarification again, please?
Sure. If it turns out that you're using one vehicle to transport people to the convention, and that's the vehicle Michelle drives on Thursday, by her designated deadline, you would need to know how many spaces there were to be filled by people making that request. And I assume that you're going to honor chapter members first over anybody's guest.
Correct.
And so I was just wondering, how you want to manage that. I mean, maybe Michelle's just comfortable. She would have to pay more for the vehicle if the numbers were such that there wasn't enough room for all the chapter members plus the guest.
Well,
So-
what probably needs to happen is we probably need to look at the 750 is allotted for that. See what that 750, if we use all the 750, what size van that will get us. But definitely chapter members get first come, first serve on seat. And then we would have to then look at what's left over, if any, for that. We kind of got to go through that from a logistical standpoint. That amount of money, what size van would that get us? Those kind of things that I need to talk to Michelle about.
Yeah, and thanks for summarizing that, Janae. I was just trying to make the clarification that if you needed to pay more for the vehicle for one more body, then you realize that you're doing that for a non-chapter member. You're taking that out of the funding, but it sounds like you're not so concerned about that, is that we have a certain amount designated and that can be spent.
Yeah, I want to look at that first quote because we don't want to overdo. We don't need to. It says it's a certain amount allotted. We've been kind of just talking through, even with our budget and what we're spending over the course of the year. We just want to make sure that we're doing things decent in order and maintaining and not overdoing it. I hope that all makes sense to everybody.
Madam Chair, in the interest of time, maybe we should move
Yes, we're going to
past
move on.
financial item to the nominating committee.
Yes. So next on the committee is election time. Not that election. It is that election time, but not that one. It's election time for this chapter. We have 4 positions that are up, and we have president, secretary, and 2 board positions. And this is the time of the year where I seek out those who are willing to be a part of the nominating committee.
And the board positions are for Sean and Melody.
So Sean and Melody for board positions, okay. And so I'm putting it out there on the floor. Who would be interested in being a part of the nominating committee? This is a temporary committee just for election time. I hear someone's unmuted on Zoom.
We'd all jump at it.
Now I can designate people for that. Like for example, last year Gail Baldwin was on the nominating committee, I believe. I don't know, Gail, you interested in being a part of the nominating committee again this year? No, I don't want you to be, I'm not asking for chair, I'm just asking yeah. Okay. Let's see, we need more. We need at least three. We need three. Denise.
She is not, she has left the Zoom meeting. I don't know if she's coming back.
Okay.
She left.
Question, Erwin, you're past president. You would be a board member if you would like to participate.
I was just trying to get. You don't have to, but okay, good.
I'm dragooning you. I know.
Okay, we need one more happy person. Angela, would you like to be on the nominating committee? You don't have to. So basically, the nominating committee is the committee that looks to see who would be good, viable candidates to run for these different positions. Or anybody you can talk into. Right.
Or says yes when they're inebriated.
It's a temporary committee. We have elections well, technically every year, but this year is president and secretary, and there's 2 board positions. And so we gather this committee together in September every year to come up with a short slate of possible candidates, and we have elections in November at our meeting in November.
Yeah, the nominating committee reports back in October meeting.
Thank you.
Mary, wow, Zoom is being very difficult for me today.
Sorry.
Mary, your hand is raised. Are you?
Yeah, I do have a question first. Are you kind of looking for someone that knows the members of the chapter a little bit, so that you like, oh yeah, this person might be great. So, I mean, doesn't it take a little bit of familiarity of people?
It does. We have Gail, we have Erwin, and we have Angela. We have 2 people who know a good amount of the members and have been here a while. And Angela's new, so this would be good for her. So yes.
Right. Well, I'd volunteer. I could volunteer, but like I said, I don't know the members too much. So.
Okay, hold on. Point of order here,
Yeah.
Tucker.
See, the way the bylaws are written, the majority of people have to be not board members. So if you got,
okay, all right.
Yeah. So you have to go out and
I don't qualify.
Like I can see Lynn over there, like with a frown on his face, but
Lynn has a frown on his face.
But never mind. Yeah, right. Well, it's got a white shirt and a white background,
I'm gonna.
Okay. So
what I'm saying is the 3 is the minimum.
3 is the minimum. So we've got 3. All
right.
Well,
I will email and let you know who's on the committee. If anybody else is interested, they can reach out. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So we have Erwin, Gail, and Angela. Thank you all for agreeing to be on our short nominating committee for 2024. ACB Ohio. We have a Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
You able to give the ACB Ohio report?
I am not. Michelle is still in the room if you wish to do so.
Either Sean or Michelle.
Well, let's see, we already talked about the convention travel pretty much. Of course, Fall Fest is the end of the month,
Convention
September.
registration is open, right?
Oh, yes, convention registration and hotel room deadline is October 8th. But yeah, fall newsletter, that's probably coming out tomorrow. We've got 20 people registered for Fall Fest, which is the end of the month. That's September 27th through the 29th in Worcester. It's pretty much all I've got at this moment, but I'll take any questions or anything. Anybody?
Anyone have any questions regarding the ACB Ohio report? Any questions about Fall Fest? Because we've been discussing that here earlier,
So Michelle,
or convention.
the registration closes on October 8th. Did I hear that? Right.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
It's registration and hotel. It's October 8th.
Monday, yeah.
Last day for both.
Question, is it the same for the virtual registration?
Yes.
Yes. And registration, is it $80?
Yeah, $80 for in-person, 40 virtual.
Okay. And what's the cost of the hotel?
$139 plus tax.
139 plus tax. Okay.
Okay, Zoom is doing a very bad job of telling me when I am when I am unmuted or unmuted. Mary's hand is raised in Zoom.
Yeah, is Voice Core a part of that report?
It is, but Vicky's not here, and I don't.
Well, it's just a matter of reminding everyone that first Monday of the Wednesday. I'm sorry, first Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. on Voice Core is where the update is for ACB.
That would be, because it's on my calendar, that would be
First Wednesday of every month is at 11 a.m. The morning exchange is ACB Ohio's show that ran by Vicky Prahan on Voice Core.
Yeah, and Kate. Yeah, right.
So on October 2nd, that will be the next Voice Core show.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find.
And the topic or speaker is it's going to be Allison Malloy, and she's going to be talking about OOD and the Independent Living Older Blind program.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
All right.
I want to tune in for that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be lowering Mary's hand.
And our monthly
Thank you.
And our monthly membership call is every second Thursday at 7 p.m. as well.
That
for all ACB Ohio members. And that's on Zoom as well.
Let me look at October 10th will be the next membership call, and we will have John Panarisi from Mac for the Blind.
So all Apple users.
Yep. His name is Panarese, is how it's pronounced.
Panarisi. Okay, John Panarisi, Mac for the Blind.
Okay.
And iOS too.
Yep. This is
all right.
Any other news from for ACB Ohio? All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Any old items, old or new business? Any old business? Anybody wants to cover anything from past things you have questions about, concerns about? Okay, hold on.
At the present time, my wife and I have a question. If we attend the ACBO convention in Indianapolis by Zoom, do we get any compensation from the chapter to help pay for registration?
No
Okay.
motion to that effect at the moment.
What was, I didn't quite even understand the
Oh,
question.
Let me, are you saying will the chapter pay for ACB Ohio and Indiana convention registration? Is that what you're asking?
Via Zoom.
Or either one, actually.
At this point, I don't think, yeah, I don't.
No motion's been made for that.
No motion's been made for that.
Okay, since there's no motion been made, I move that the registration costs for a member going to or via Zoom be paid for out of the chapter members.
Okay, we'd like to have some, anybody would like to, let's have some discussion about that. Lee? Okay, need a second. Okay, anybody want to second what he's saying? He's saying he would like to make a motion that the chapter pay for those who attend the convention via Zoom, that the chapter covers that. If I'm, oh, either way for, okay, so you're making a motion asking that the chapter cover those who attend the convention to cover their registration fee. Is that correct? Okay, so he's made a motion for that. If there's someone else who would like us to second it. So Ed is seconded. So is there any discussion?
I just am concerned that's a fairly decent chunk of change you're talking about. And if everyone's okay with that, that's fine. But just saying that's going to be. Also, Mark has his hand raised in Zoom. I'm sorry, Mark.
There could be $1,600, so, or 20 times 40.
I don't think that's really.
Here's my thoughts on it, and I'm gonna upset some people, and I'm sorry, but if we're gonna make a motion to support paying the cost of the convention, I think we should cover those who are actually going to participate in person before we start giving money to people that are just gonna be at home on Zoom. That's just my thoughts. And I don't think we should cover the cost of the convention for people. If they're wanting to go, if they're wanting to go and they know that they need to register, I mean, that's something that you should budget for. It's just my thoughts.
I agree. And to me, based on where we are budget wise, I don't think it's a smart thing either. In my view, unless Lee, you have something different to it. We just talked about what we are budget wise and how much.
I'm kind of in agreement also. I don't think that.
We just had a discussion about money and how much we've spent so far this year and what we have kind of allotted, even though yes, we have money in checking, but we don't necessarily just want to pull it out just to be pulling it out. We don't want to do that. Just be pulling it out. So, I don't think this is a good motion at this point in time. So.
Well, you could vote on it.
Are we able to take, because Mark has a question in Zoom, are we able to address his question?
So is there anybody on Zoom that has anything to add to this discussion before we vote?
Mark's hand is raised.
Yes, Mark.
You'll need to *6 to unmute.
If he, it's
Mark, give that one more try. *6 next to each other.
We've kind of gone over here. Sean, are you able to unmute him for him?
I am not able to unmute him. No.
Okay. All right. If he's not able to unmute, we can. Is it somebody? Is that him?
No.
Okay. Does anybody else have any discussion? Because we're going to go ahead and take a vote. So I don't hear any other discussion. So all in favor of this motion to Okay, can I
Me.
talk? Huh? Oh, okay. All those in favor of this motion say aye. All those opposed of this motion?
Opposed?
Nay. Opposed.
Okay.
Nay.
Okay, this motion does not carry. So this is not a good motion. Sorry about that, Lynn. Not a good idea. So,
It's a good idea. It's just not supported.
well, it's a good idea.
Not supported.
Not supported, okay. Okay, so I would like someone to, if there's no other new business or old business to,
I have something.
you have something, go ahead.
I do. At this point, because one of the things that was talked about is, for support would be the Christmas dinner. I don't see any way that we can get that together at this late date. So are we going to just not have one this time? Because normally if we're going to have one, the planning for that happens much earlier than we currently are. So are we just going to forego it at this time? To me, it doesn't seem like you'd be able to get anything decent together in such a short amount of time.
We'd probably be looking at Massey's Pizza or something like that. So,
Yeah, we're probably gonna just do Massey's.
I mean, or some equivalent.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I will work
Is
on,
that
You say time is short.
yeah, time is short.
okay? I just was
Thank you for asking.
wanted to mention that.
That was on the list too, that the finance committee presented was that, so.
Irwin has some.
Yep. Hi, it's Irwin. And a few people may know, but I just wanted to let everybody know that a few weeks ago, Kate, who is the director of Newsreel, fell and broke her arm. So she has been in the hospital. They've done some surgery. They're still trying to figure out what the next steps are. She should be home shortly, they're hoping, but it's going to be a while before she's back in the Newsreel office, I'm sure. So at this point, I'm the one who's doing Newsreel, and it's going to keep me busy. I'm not quite sure when it will go out, but I just wanted to let you know so you think about Kate and how she's doing.
Any other business that needs to be brought to the floor? Old or new?
Oh, hello. This is Rachel.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the Christmas dinner, I was thinking like going out to like Rusty Bucket. They have a party room, or the one I was at anyway, as a thought, or a potluck. Like we would have to go to someone's house for that, but that might be too much.
If you want to look into Rusty Bucket and see how big that party room is and how many people it holds, and you can get that information to someone as soon as possible, that's an option.
Okay, I can call Rusty Bucket and ask like what they can offer, and it's not too expensive. So I can call and find out. There's one. They have a few locations, so
We need we need one that is definitely on the bus line that people can get to.
And the usual date is the second Saturday in December. And it can be anywhere from 11 to 5, some time range in there.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much. Is there any other business? Yes.
Could the visitors read his name and spell it for him?
Could our visitor repeat their name and spell it for our secretary, please?
Gail Neuendorf, GAIL NEUENDORF.
Okay, you're going to need to repeat that last name closer to the microphone because not all of the letters came through, at least over Zoom anyway, and I'm wondering about them.
NEUENDORF.
Which form of Gail is it?
GAIL. That part did come through.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Okay, thank you, Ed. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Someone like to say? All those in favor say aye. Thank you, everybody.
Aye.
Pass.
Figured out she recognizes.
What'd you say, Jeff?
I said,